I'm Alex with Storyline Travel, and today we're going to talk about a trip review of our trip to Walt Disney World in November 2021. Stay tuned for more details. In this first part, we'll take a look at our story, the technology at Walt Disney World and dining. So let's start with our story. At Storyline Travel, we believe every adventure is a story waiting to be told. So our story is we were celebrating my wife's 50th birthday. We had planned this trip for well over a year, and her actual birthday was during the week of this trip. We spent her birthday at Magic Kingdom celebrating both her special day as well as enjoying the celebration of Walt Disney World's 50th. We invited all of our immediate family, so our kids and our son-in-law came along, and we spent the time together having a special meal at Liberty Tree Tavern and making sure that she had that special birthday button so that folks, when they walked by her, would wish her a happy birthday. It was quite an exciting and adventurous time, and she really enjoyed herself. In addition, we took advantage of Disney's new Disney Merriest After Hours event. And we'll talk a little bit about that, some of the pros and cons as we went through. As part of this review in November 2021, I did want to share with you some pluses and minuses that we ran into as we were experiencing this trip. The first of those was technology, using My Disney Experience. The app has become a real integral part of visiting Walt Disney World now. Most of the wait time for attractions information can be found on the My Disney Experience app. A lot of dining requirements really point you towards the app. And so we found that My Disney Experience has become an integral part of spending time in the parks at Walt Disney World. Because of that, you also need to make sure that you have charging cords or even an extra battery with you. Because you're on your phone more, you will find that the battery gets eaten up a little quicker. I want to share with you a negative experience we had with My Disney Experience. The morning we were going to Epcot. We wanted to get in the virtual queue for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. I pulled up the app and I was unable to join a virtual queue. It kept giving me an error. I went down to the front desk to ask if there was any additional problems. There was a great cast member named Alex. We spent about 30 minutes together going through different options. He called first level IT support and was on the phone with them. We tried many different things, including deleting and re-adding the app. We noticed that I couldn't pull up any billing information. That gave me an error as well. And the tip and my Genie tiles on My Disney Experience, they were dead. You tapped them, they didn't do anything. Other tiles would work fine. I could see my day, I could see my reservation, but those two weren't any good. After about 30 minutes of messing with this, I was directed to go to contact Disney IT's second level support. I left the front desk and had an idea. So our family uses, for cybersecurity reasons, a virtual private network, also known as a VPN, when we connect to public Wi-Fi's. And we had connected to Disney's guest Wi-Fi because we're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge and the cellular service was a little less than we desired, and we were using that for speed and accuracy. What we've determined is that VPNs do not work well. For us, they didn't work at all with virtual queues or with billing. As soon as I turned the VPN off, all the functionality of My Disney Experience returned. In fact, later that afternoon, we were able to get into the virtual queue for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure after the 1 o'clock cutoff. So for those of you who use VPNs when you connect to public Wi-Fi's at Disney, be aware that it will negatively impact your ability to look at your billing. It will negatively impact your ability to join virtual queues, and it could disable the Genie experience. So let's talk a little bit about Disney Genie. This is the free service that provides you with tips and attraction wait time information. We found this actually to be very useful and fairly accurate for most of the attractions that we went on. We were able to use it to guide us through which attractions we wanted to go to in different parks. And it did use our location. We allowed it to use our location to give us tips for attractions around us that might have a shorter wait time. And we were very pleased at Epcot, for example, that we had very short wait times for Soarin' around the world or for Test Track. And we could look at the tip boards and kind of decide where to go from there. So we did find it very useful to use that. For the Disney Genie Plus, we opted not to do that at any point, spending a day in each of the 4 parks. And for the most part, I thought we were okay. We were able to do attractions we wanted to do without terrible wait time, with one exception, and I do want to point that out. Currently, Hollywood Studios has some very popular attractions across the board. Whether you're in Toy Story Land, Galaxy's Edge, or spending time on Sunset Boulevard with Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. We found on the day that we went that all of these rides had extremely long wait times for standby. And it would have been a great time to have tried the Disney Plus and to add it just for that day. We did not do that, and I can tell you it wasn't a great experience. We did get to ride 2 attractions, but we stood in line for well over an hour for our Tower of Terror, only to have it break down and become not available, and Disney cleared the line and the queue. So we left without riding after wasting a good amount of time. As we left the park that day, I really look back and wish we had done that. We could have looked at that particular park and seen that wait times were pretty tough for all the rides and all the attractions. And I think that would have been a benefit. So something to look, if you're going on a Walt Disney World trip, especially Hollywood Studios at this point in time, they do have a lot of really popular attractions, and it's not uncommon for many of them to become over that hour wait time. Go ahead and add the Disney Genie Plus for that day. My recommendation, again, at this point, if you're not going at a ridiculously busy time, say the week of Thanksgiving, the week of Christmas, the week of New Year's, Easter, those really popular weeks, you may be better off just adding the Disney Genie Plus on a day where you're going to a park that's going to be very popular. Right now, I think that is Hollywood Studios. And finally, the Lightning Lane. So we did try out the Lightning Lane, some to share this experience with you guys, because I think it's very valuable, and some because we wanted to take the opportunity to get to ride Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Some comments on that. There were 5 of us. The price was $9 a person, so an additional $45 to our bill, actually almost $50 with tax. Quite a lot to add to a vacation that you've already spent on. Be aware of that. That can add up fast. You're allowed 2 Lightning Lanes a day. Times 5 days, you can see that can add up pretty fast. They're not kidding on Lightning Lane though. We were very impressed with when we showed up in our window. We were almost a walk-on as soon as we got in, and that was with a full virtual queue, and we could see the standby line, even with the virtual queue, was fairly long getting onto the attraction. But with Lightning Lane, we walked right on. With respect to Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, I'm glad we did it and we have that experience. I don't know it's a ride that I would put on my must-do in every trip. And as I mentioned earlier, we were able to get onto the virtual queue for later that evening. So maybe we wasted a little bit of money. I'm not sure on that. Again, I did want to try it for the experience. But if you want to really have a great experience, or this is your one chance to go and you aren't sure you would do it again, I think it's worth it for that one time. I don't know that it's something I would do every time. But it is good to know, and it is good that you're walking right on. It's not much of a wait at all using the lightning lanes. So let's talk about dining. And technology plays into this a little bit as well. Most of the quick service restaurants, I'm going to walk up, I'm going to get something really fast and go sit down and eat, now require you to use mobile order. And again, My Disney Experience app is where we were pointed. There was only one place I can even think of on our trip where they even had an option for you to walk up and order from a cast member. In most cases, you ordered through the app. You weren't even you were directed away from going to the counter until you had an order ready. So we did get used to this. By the second day, we were ordering away from the restaurant. Maybe after we'd gotten off of attraction, decided we were hungry, we'd place the order, walk over to the dining location, and by the time we got there, our order would be ready. We would be texted on the app itself and use that to then go up, get the food, go find a table, sit down and eat. Again, My Disney Experience is really becoming a focal point for many of the activities you do while at the Walt Disney World Resort. For table service, as you walked in, about half the time we were directed to use the My Disney Experience to check in and to let them know we were there, our party was available. This one, you do tend to have a cast member, they can check you in. So it depended on the cast member, depended on the location and how busy it was. I will also tell you that checking in early does not mean that you'll get in any earlier. So for the birthday lunch that we had with my wife, we checked in a good 15 minutes early, maybe even 20 minutes early, to be honest. We had a nice gap of time and we had a later reservation, so we were hoping to get in maybe a little bit early. The reality was that after our check-in, we ended up getting seated about 15 minutes after our reservation time. So we had a 35 to 40 minute wait. And just talking with other folks around, that seemed to be consistent, that even if you checked in early, you wouldn't get necessarily earlier seating. That was definitely the case before as well. But with the mobile check-in, you do seem to be queued through the technology based on your reservation time. So just be aware, just because it's an early check-in doesn't mean that you'll get seated early. In fact, in our case, we ended up getting seated later. If you do not have a reservation at a table service, My Disney Experience does provide the ability to add yourself to a wait list if a wait list is provided. So find the restaurant that you're interested in. You do have to be close. It does use Location Navigator, so this is very difficult if you want to join a wait list when you're in one park and you're going to park hop to another, or for a resort if you're in a park, or vice versa. But if there is waitlist available, it will pull up on the app. It will tell you how long you have to wait on that wait list and give you a link to join with your party number. If there is no walk-up available, you will see a message that says the wait list is full and that they're no longer taking anyone for those reservations. So again, the My Disney Experience app can be useful if you do not have a reservation, you want a table service. It is possible to look. Again, you need to be close, even with a 45 or hour-long wait. You do need to be close to the restaurant to join that wait list, but it is a good option if you don't have a reservation and you're looking for a table service restaurant. Please comment below. Let us know, did you learn something new? And subscribe to our channel. We're putting these videos out every Friday and we'd love you to be a part of our community. Give us a like button if this review was useful to you and turn on those notifications. That way, every time we post a new video, you know. And remember, at Storyline Travel, we believe every adventure is a story waiting to be told. Stay tuned next week for part 2, where we'll talk about some general information and Disney's very Merriest after-hours event.